Hello everyone, welcome back. As you can see, I'm playing Destiny here, and today I'm going to be showing off the abilities for the Titan, and then giving some tips on his abilities as well. First thing I would like to point out is that my Warlock video for the abilities and tips got a lot of views. Every once in a while, one of my videos will just blow up out of nowhere, but it's still really cool when it happens. So yeah, thanks to everyone that watched that video. Alright, so moving on to this one. Now, up to this point, I've played all the characters, and so far the Warlock is my favorite, and the Titan is my second favorite. Alright, so first I'm going to go into the Striker, and then I'm going to show off the grenades first, and then go through his abilities. So first here, you have the Flashbang Grenade, an explosive grenade that disorients the enemies it damages, which is really good, and you can actually see a little mark above their head that shows that they're disoriented. You'll see one of the Fallen, he's kind of like covering his face, and he has the mark above his head, so that's how you know which ones are blinded by it. And then you have the Pulse Grenade, a grenade that periodically damages enemies inside its explosive radius. That's one of the ones that's kind of like the Vortex Grenade and the... I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the Solar Grenade, I think it is, for the Warlock. I don't know how many times it pulses. It'll be in the video, so you can clearly see how many times, but I think it's like 2 or 3. So it's pretty damaging, but it kind of locks them down to one area, so it has to be really specific. Or you can just do what I usually do with grenades, and you burst down their health and then just finish them off with your weapon. Which that's mainly just what I use grenades for in this game. Or take down their health first with a weapon, then use a grenade. Very few grenades in this game can kill with just the grenade, unless it's like the cluster grenade with the Warlock. And then down here, you have the Lightning Grenade, which is really good. As you can see, I throw it and stick it to a wall, and it shoots lightning in the opposite direction. So if you're in a tunnel or a cave or something like that, and it's very closed in and people are chasing you in the Crucible, you can just fling it on a wall, and then it'll block them off. Or if they are foolish enough to go through it, they'll get killed by the lightning. So it is really good. A little bit situational, but you can also throw it on the ground as well. So you can really use this grenade anywhere. But it's more effective on like a wall or ceiling or something like that. And then over here you have Lift, which is basically his double jump. Every character has some kind of double jump. For the Warlock, you glide, and the Lift is basically the same principle, but you actually jump higher on the initial jump. And you don't glide at all. It's just... you lift, and then when the lift runs out, you fall back down to the earth. So you do get higher, but you can't sustain it. And then you have Fist of Havoc, which is probably the second most powerful one in the game. No, third, because Blade Dancer is extremely powerful. And basically what you do is, you go and slam the ground, as you'll see in the video there. And if you have this active, it will leave a damaging field that does a significant amount of damage, by the way. If you've ever seen that in the Crucible, it will kill you very, very quickly. And then over here you have Storm Fist, which is probably the most basic kind of punch you have in this game, where it just deals bonus damage. Probably not the best. I wouldn't compare it to the other ones, because for the Warlock you have the one where it increases agility and reload speed, and then the other one for the Warlock, it gives you a shield, which the Titan also has, but on his Defender class, not the Striker class. So this one is probably the least effective in the game, which is why I usually use Defender more than Striker. I feel like it plays better to my playstyle. And then you have these standard ones over here where training focused on battle, recovery, and toughness. And as you can see, the stats move depending on which one you pick. And then over here you have the same exact thing. So you can make different combinations of armor, recovery, and agility. Normally for the Titan, I just like going for armor and recovery, which is why I have the ones that I do selected. And I don't know if I'll change it. This one, it takes down the recovery and gives you a little bit of armor, which is pretty good, but I like having the armor and recovery almost even, because it really helps you stay alive in fights. And then in the middle, you have Headstrong. Sprinting increases the leap distance of Fist of Havoc. This one is actually my favorite, because you can really get some distance on that sprint, and just slam down in the middle of a fight. It's especially good if you sprint off of a building, and jump into the air, and then use it, because then you'll just get some crazy distance off of that. Then you have Aftershock. Increases the duration of Pulse Grenade, Lightning Grenade, and Aftermath. I did use that one for a while, but I feel like using Sprint is much better. Because this one, usually in the multiplayer, people won't stick around for that long, and the regular duration for the Fist of Havoc, the little lightning blast you have on the ground, the duration is already good enough, so you don't really need any extra duration. It's mainly for the Pulse Grenade and the Lightning Grenade, which I don't use as often because I don't use the Striker class. I typically like to use the Flashbang because it blinds people, so I don't really need this one equipped. It doesn't really fit my playstyle. And then down here you have Transfusion. Kills with Stormfist immediately trigger health regeneration. That one sounds really good. I'm not sure if I'll switch it out with the Headstrong, but it sounds good enough to where I'll want to use that one instead. Then you have Unstoppable. You are hard to kill while using Fist of Havoc. This one's pretty good, but the one down here is a lot better. Shoulder Charge. After sprinting for a short time, press RB to unleash a devastating melee attack, which, as you see in the video there, and if you played in the Crucible, it is a one-hit kill. I'm not sure how many enemies it's going to be a one-hit kill on, but I know it does a significant amount of damage. The one thing you have to watch out for is if you sprint for too long, you actually lose it. So you have to time the sprint, because I think if I were to classify it, it would probably be 6 seconds, you'll lose the charge, and at 3 seconds is when you gain the charge. Or maybe 8 seconds is when you lose it. So just gauge it by looking at it, because you'll be able to tell a lot better if you're actually using it. And then down here you have Juggernaut. After sprinting for a short time, gain a protective shield. That one sounds good, but I like the fact that you can actually do a one-hit kill with the shoulder charge. But if you're trying to be a tank, I guess Juggernaut would be better. I don't know how long the shield will last. I don't know if it's just like a brief shield, or when you stop sprinting you lose the shield, but it does sound effective. And then you go over here, you have the second-hand abilities down here. You have increased height, upgrades lift to travel to greater heights. That's the one I have right now. And then down here it says better directional control. I don't really like that one, but this one down here provides an initial strong burst of momentum, which is kind of like this one, but it actually lets you move quicker. Like for the Warlock, you had one of those where it gives you a boost of speed when you go off, and that's exactly what this is like too. Then you have Fist of Havoc leaves the damage-dealing field in its wake. That's the one I went over earlier in the video. And then you have Overload. Hits with Storm Fist have a chance to immediately reset its cooldown. That one's pretty good, but it gets better as you go down. For instance, you have here, Discharge. Hits with Storm Fist have a chance to deal area of effect damage around the target. That one's really good, a lot better than this one. And then this one is Amplify. Kills with Storm Fist significantly reduce the cooldown of Fist of Havoc. That one will probably be the best, especially if you're playing in the single player, because there are a lot of enemies that you can just one-hit with melee, so you can poke down the crowd a little bit with that, and then use Fist of Havoc to leap in there and just smack the rest. So yeah, the Striker class is pretty good, but I'm going to move on to the one that I like better, which is the Defender class. And then here you have Magnetic Grenade, which actually locks onto them. It's not like the sticky grenade in, or the plasma grenade in Halo, where you have to throw it directly at them. You just have to throw it close to them, and it'll lock onto them and stick to them. And then it'll leave a little explosion afterwards. So even if you do kill them with the first explosion, the other explosion will still be there and go off. And then you have Spike Grenade, which is a lot like the other grenade, the Lightning Grenade, where it shoots out lightning. But what this one does is it pulls energy in. So it doesn't do a quick burst, it just slowly drains their health over time. So it's a little bit worse than the Lightning Grenade, but if you're using the Defender class, it's good enough. So it'll still do a similar job to the Lightning Grenade, just not as effective. And then you have the Suppressor Grenade, an explosive grenade that prevents enemies from using abilities for a short time. That one is actually really good to use in the multiplayer, but it's also situational because it implies that they're about to use an ability. If they weren't going to use the ability anyway, then there is no sense in using it. But the good thing about it is, all of these 4 things right here all count as abilities. So if they were to go to double jump, you can't do that. They go to use their special melee, can't do that either. Grenades, nope, can't do that. And of course you can't do the super either. So it really limits what they can do in a fight. And much like the flashbang, you'll see the little mark above their head, so you know that they're affected by it. And then over here you have Lift. All of these are literally the same thing as the other class, the Striker. So I'm just going to skip completely over these and not even have overlays. And then over here you have Ward of Dawn, which is a Void Light shield that is indestructible. And if you have this effect down here, while inside Ward of Dawn, you and your allies gain significant damage resistance. This is the one that I think I'll have equipped forever, because that is really, really effective. In the multiplayer, it makes you almost invincible. So if you were to place down your shield and just stay inside the shield, no one can kill you. The only way I've been killed while inside that shield is when somebody comes slamming in with the Striker super. Because I don't even think the Warlock super can get through the shield. Since he doesn't actually go in it, I think it'll just hit the outside of your shield and you'll be completely fine. The Striker, however, he'll come slamming in and kill you. So you have to watch out for the Titans while you're in the shield, but other than that, you're really, really protected. Then you have the Blessing of Light. Passing through Ward of Dawn grants you and your allies a temporary shield. That sounds good too, but I feel like this one is much better, because you do get the ability to leave the shield and have a little shield on you as well, but this one gives you a better shield, and you can stay inside of it. So it definitely grants you a lot more protection than the other one. And then you have Weapons of Light. Passing through Ward of Dawn grants you and your allies a temporary increase to weapon damage. Again, really good effect, but this one for me just reigns supreme, because he seems to be like a Defender class, obviously, as his name suggests. So weapon damage doesn't really tie into all of his abilities. So yeah, I probably will just use Armor of Light completely, because I've used it in the multiplayer extensively, and it is really, really good. Then you have Disintegrate, which this one is actually similar to the Warlock ability where he gets the solar shield, but this one you actually have to kill somebody in order to get the Force Barrier. So it's not as good, because the other one, for the Warlock, you can literally just hit somebody and you have a shield. This one you have to take it a little step further. And then down here you have War Machine. While Force Barrier is active, all of your weapons reload and ready blindingly fast. That one is actually really good, and you'll see in the little clip how quickly he reloads. But down here you have Gift of Light. While Force Barrier is active, all your melee kills create Orbs of Light. Not as good. And then you go down even further, Force Barrier continually recharges. That is where it gets really, really good. So you have this one, which is a good effect, this one, which is an okay effect, because Orbs of Light really only affect you if you're playing in a party, and I normally like to play solo, so that doesn't matter for me. But down here, Force Barrier continually recharges. That is incredible, because that almost gives you the same strength of this shield right here, but you can just run around freely. So yeah, for those, I think it's like 10 seconds or 13 seconds that you have this shield, you are, as it says down here, unbreakable. And then over here you have the modifiers like the other class. As you can see, I have it mostly built in armor, which I'm probably going to keep it as it is right now, where all the statistics are. Because as you can see, if I were to do this and get more armor, or it's kind of blocking it off. But yeah, you can see the green under there. It'll give me a little more agility, but it'll take down too much recovery for me, and I don't really like that. So I'm probably just going to keep all of these modifiers as they are right now. And then in here you have increase the duration of Ward of Dawn. Pretty good, it's okay, but this one I like a lot better. Increase the strength and duration of Force Barrier. So you have Relentless, which increases the strength and duration of the barrier, and then if you combine that with Unbreakable, Force Barrier continually recharges. You just can't be killed. They just have to accept that you're going to be unstoppable while you have those two skills. Which is why I can't wait to unlock this one, because that will make playing online so much better. You do still have to get a kill with the melee in order to activate it, but I mean, you get a melee kill and you're invincible. So it's really, really good. Definitely cannot wait to unlock this one. Then you have Gift of the Void. As Ward of Dawn takes damage from enemies, it creates additional Orbs of Light. Again, I play solo, so definitely not worth it for me to switch to that one. And then the final set of skills, you have Untouchable. Reduces the cooldown time of Ward of Dawn. I have that one equipped right now because the one that I have unlocked below it's not as good. Which is Iron Harvest. Heavy weapon kills have a chance to create Orbs of Light for your allies. Again, third time, Orbs of Light, don't really need them. And I don't use heavy weapons that often, so yeah, definitely not as good as this one. And then down here, finally, you have Illuminated. Increase the benefits granted by Blessings of Light and Weapons of Light. So, I mean, it's an okay effect, because as you can see over here, you have the Blessing of Light passes through, and then the Weapons of Light. But I'm not going to be using either of these. I'm just going to stick to the Armor of Light. So this one is almost completely useless for the way I play. So it is a good ability, but it has nothing to do with how I play. Alright, so that is the Titan class. The next one in line is obviously going to be the Hunter, because I've already done the Warlock. And I'm not sure what other videos I'll have planned. There is a place called the Murder Cave, which is where people kind of farm XP and stuff like that. So I'll do a video showing where that is and how to get to it. There's probably a million of those videos in existence already, but I still want to put one out just in case someone hasn't seen it, and they find my video for the first time, and they're like, oh wow, that's really efficient. So yeah, I'll keep it around for that. And after that, I'm not sure what else I'll have. I mean, it'll be 7 videos in Destiny, so it's good enough. But yeah, I just can't really think of anything else. Especially since raids take forever, which is the one that I was wanting to do. And my capture device is not trustworthy enough for me to do a recording that long, because it'll probably just kill the recording, like it's known to do. Elgato, best recording software ever. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.